And this is a look at the Emerson College poll. You are going to notice those new numbers that are coming in. And one thing you'll also notice, Republican Curtis Sliwa, 21%, getting closer and closer there to the numbers by Andrew Cuomo. I want to pop this up for you on your screen. This is actually a post coming in from Curtis Sliwa saying the Sliwa surge is real and the polls aren't capturing the reality on the ground. New Yorkers stand firm. You don't have to choose between the architect and the apprentice. Vote for Curtis Sliwa to save our city. Sliwa joining us now live to talk much more about all of this here. And Curtis, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Oh, my pleasure. And let's face it, the only time I'll ever agree with Eric Adams is the whole world is watching this election because of the elements involved. You have the old with Andrew Cuomo. You have the new with Zohran Mamdani, and then you have Rudy Giuliani 2.0 and Curtis Sliwa. So it's quite a race. And I just want to applaud everybody for coming out to vote early. That's what democracy is about, not billionaires, influencers, insiders determining who's going to be the next mayor of the city of New York, but the actual people. And they're coming out, they're surging, and we need to applaud them. I do, even if they're not voting for me. This is what democracy is.
I wanted to kind of start here by asking you about your background, because a lot of people at this point are pretty familiar with you. But for folks who maybe haven't heard about you and are in New York City, they're going to vote. Can you break down who you are, what you stand for, all of that?
Well, I always say, if you're in New York City and you're still unsure of who Curtis Sliwa is after 46 years of leading the guardian angel effort that many people attribute to saving this city when we didn't have cops, when we were consumed by crime on the subways in the late 70s and crack cocaine in the 80s. In fact, Rudy Giuliani, who has been my mentor, who's supporting me now, along with former Governor George Pataki, those are the two most iconic Republicans who have served our state and city and actually stopped the crime, the chaos, and the corruption. And I've learned from the best. So in starting the Guardian Angels, I wore the red beret. I still do. The young men and women, they patrol unarmed, and they keep people out of harm's way. They protect them. And now we do it in 13 countries and 130 cities with local people. We don't accept any government money. It is all volunteer. There are some contributions that aid the effort, but it's minimal. And people, you see, by now, people will say, I love Curtis. It's like everybody loves Raymond. I love Curtis. But I don't know if I'm going to vote for him because, as you know, in New York City, the preponderance of the registered voters are Democrats. They look at the R, is somewhat put off. And now I tell them all, well, for the first time ever, we have a line, an independent line, first in electoral history in the United States, put together by my wife, Nancy, who loves animals, rescues animals like a lot of Americans do. It's called Protect Animals. No kill shelters, animal abusers go to jail. And boy, does that resonate with a lot of voters, whether they voted for Trump, Harris, or they're independent, and especially women. Some of them are one-issue voters. And I think the combination of Republicans, conservatives, independents who are 2.5 times the number of registered voters now than Republicans, some moderate Democrats and animal lovers. And that's my pathway to victory. And look, Zohran Mamdani came from nowhere. It's like a meteor. He was 1% in the polls in March. Cuomo was at 40% up, and he lost the primary by 13 points. He's old. He lacks energy. He's dystopian, angry, and he's cold-hearted, and people have rejected that. He's like a political zombie. Zohran is the new kid on the block. He's affable. He's like the song Sade, you know, cool, smooth operator. Like Barack Obama, except he's junior varsity to Barack Obama. So his favorables are high, and that's why you got to take him on the issues. Every time people start talking about, well, you should drop out, it's a great day for Zohran Mamdani because then he doesn't have to talk about the issues that he's very vulnerable on.
And I talked about this as we were introducing you, but I want to pop these up on your screen because these are the results that are coming in from Emerson College. Again, that is just one of the polls that has been conducted, released earlier on today. And a big sticking point here, of course, it's the fact that Zoran Mamdani has 50%, but you are noticing there that you are approaching Andrew Cuomo. You are getting very close here. So I wanted to ask you, what do you make of these polls? Do they really tell you anything?
If you believe in the polls, and remember, I've said the polls have been wrong every step of the way, but let's take this poll for instance. I believe Andrew Cuomo has lost a lot of moderate Democrats because now he talks so much about how President Trump prefers him as the mayoral candidate over the Republican Curtis Sliwa. And I think we got to understand that President Trump is very popular in the country, very popular in parts of New York State, not so popular in New York City. So if you're a Democrat and you're leaning on Trump as the reason to vote for you, you're going to lose a lot of Democrats. You'll gain a few Republicans and conservatives, but you're going to lose more moderate Democrats. And I think that's reflected in this poll. You can't serve both. You're either promoting a Republican conservative agenda like me, like Rudy Giuliani 2.0, or you're the old school moderate Democrat that Andrew Cuomo claims that he is. You're not going to be able to cross over because you're going to lose voters, you're going to confuse voters, and when all is said and done on November 4th, the conservatives and the Republicans are going to come home because they're going to know this is a election about law and order, public safety, quality of life, the fact that we have a crime crisis. And Andrew Cuomo has been the architect of that when he was governor, and his able apprentice in destroying the city when it comes to crime has been Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani. They're like two peas in a pod. They really don't differ on law and order issues, and I am obviously distinct and separate from them. So I give people a different reason to vote for me than the two of them who argue like kids in a schoolyard every day. It's very confusing. You can't understand what they say. But they keep repeating the same mantra over and over. There's nothing exciting, nothing new, nothing that would engage you. And I think that's why you see me surging. I mean, I went 11 points just in this one poll, and I feel it in the streets. I have 13 headquarters throughout the 5 boroughs. Nobody else I haven't seen one Cuomo headquarters. Zoran, I think, has one. The Zoranistas, I call them, they're out. They're doing their get out to vote effort. We run across them, but you had to be doing this 3 months ago because it's very meticulous. You micro target. You know who voted for Trump in the 2024 election. You go after those that voted for Zeldin as governor in 2022. And obviously the people who voted for me in 2021 when I warned everybody Eric Adams would be corrupt and there would be chaos. And there certainly was. That's how you win elections. Door-to-door retail, knocking on doors, leaving door hangers, calls, text, emails, snail mail. And if you don't do that months ahead, you can't win an election. And unfortunately, I don't know what it is about Andrew Cuomo. He was 19. He was the campaign manager for his father, Mario, or much better, Cuomo. He knows retail politics. He didn't do it in the primary. He admitted it. And believe it or not, he's not doing it again. There was a New York Post article that said he was missing from the campaign trail for 10 days since Labor Day. You can't win elections unless you press the flesh in New York City. I do that in the subways, the only one to do that, and in the streets every day.
I wanted to ask you how you compare. What are some of the similarities and differences between you and President Trump?
Well, I think, as you can see, we're bombastic. We speak, and not from a prepared script. We will say things that other people may think are controversial, very sharp, representing the working class people. Clearly, the president has changed the whole makeup of the Republican Party. When I was growing up, I grew up in a blue-collar, working-class Democratic household. My father, a merchant seaman for 50 years, said, "You will never vote for Republicans. They are the party of the rich, the privileged, the country club class, and they do not represent working-class people." President Trump, since 2016, has turned that upside down and all around. Now, wherever you go in the United States, the majority of people who support the Republican Party are the blue-collar working class people. The people who are at the forefront of this socialist movement to take over the Democratic Party, and they're doing so each and every day, are people who are highly educated. They've had 4 years of college education, 2 years of graduate school. Very few of the blue-collar working class. You find that union members are not listening to their leadership. They used to lockstep and go out there and get votes for Democrats. They don't do that anymore. A lot of the union members will say, that's the leadership, that's the executive board, but I'm voting what I think is in my best interest. And so the Republican Party, in many instances, especially in this mayoral election, I'm the populist Republican who represents blue-collar working class people, most of whom live in the outer boroughs because they're always ignored and neglected. Manhattan gets all the attention. And let's face it, it's become the borough of the elite, the well-to-do, the rich, the wealthy, the billionaires, the influencers, and the insiders. And they're not going to determine who is in this election.
And this is a post right here from the New York City Board of Elections reminding folks that it's day 6 of early voting. Polls there open from 9 to 5, so they have closed here. But of course, they are going to be open, and Election Day is Tuesday. What is your final message that you do want to get across to voters in New York City who are watching you right now?
Do not shrink because of fear, fright, and hysteria of Zoran and his socialists. I hear so many people saying, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. The moment you do that, you capitulate, you surrender. You might as well pack your bags and head to Florida now. You got to fight, fight, fight. They got to feel the energy in your supporters that even if I lose on November 4th, and that's a possibility, I will improve, I will not move, I will establish a mayorship in exile, and I will become Zoran Mandami's worst nightmare every chance I get, because I'm a community organizer. Remember, they said that about Barack Obama. Look, I've organized communities all over the world. I will be organizing communities to resist socialism and the takeover of New York. There are 350 neighborhoods, and I'm a well-known entity in all of them. So win or lose, you fight, fight, fight. This is like Braveheart. I feel like I'm on the gurney sometimes when Republicans tell me, or others, drop out, drop out. I'm like Braveheart. Mel Gibson, remember at the end when his executioner says to him, you bow down to the king. You acknowledge the king of England, and I will not kill you and impale you. And what did Mel Gibson say? Do your job, executioner. That's how I feel. Go ahead, impale me. There's no way I'm dropping out. I represent Republican principles, and it's the only way to save our city, because next year, we then elect Elise Stefanik to take back the stake and get rid of Kathy Hochul. It's like when we elected Giuliani in 93, Pataki in 94. You elect me this year as your mayor. I'm Giuliani 2.0. And then, oh boy, Elise Stefanik is going to take out Kathy Hochul, and we'll restore New York State to the state that it was when Republicans were in charge.
All right, Curtis Sliwa, Republican there for New York City Mayor. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us and help discuss this as we are just days away from Election Day. We appreciate it.
Anytime.